This video is about managing your forms. You can manage your form by two options. First of all, you can use a versioning, and second one, you can use export and import for importing forms. Form can contain several versions. For that, we have few options. First of all, we can lock our form. As you can see that our form contains few pages, and we can be sure that nobody will change it. And when we click the button lock, we will see this pop-up which asks us about the some details for locking the form. And when form is locked, we can see this yellow message in the top of the screen, and actually it will gives us information about why this form was locked, if this information was provided by user when he locked the form, and who locked the form and when. If for some reason we need to change the form which was locked before, we can use the versioning. For that, we click the special button. We can see that near the number 0.01, we have this lock. It means that our form is locked from the editing. And actually, we can move our cursor on that number. And on the right part, we will see the possibility to create a new version. After we select that option to create new version, additional three options will be displayed. Which exactly option we want to version we want to create. This more for the people who use that functionality a lot, because functionality doesn't it doesn't matter which version you will choose, major, minor, or patch, doesn't matter. It's more for us if we want to, for example, have the version which will be moved to the production. We can use, for example, major level of number of the form versions, and also if it's just a quick fix during the testing, we can use the patch version. In any case, it's only about the number which we will see in the list of versions for the particular form. So here we can see that we created several versions, and if we select the version of the form without this lock, it means that our form can be changed, can be updated, and on the bottom of the screen we can see how our form looks like if the form is locked. So using that functionality, we can somehow protect our form from removing, removing some elements and drag and drop inside or editing new elements. From my experience, I really often like to lock some form. Can you imagine that we used our form for some product or for some website, and this form was pretty well tested, changed regarding the requirements from the client, and after a few days, I don't know, our client asked us to change something on the logic of the form. We did it. He tries it and he decided no, it doesn't work, or our product becomes broken because of that latest changes. So we need to roll back our form. In this way, we need to change everything as it was before our changes. This is quite difficult, and we have several options how to return our form. In this case, if we use locked version, or at least some version, it shouldn't be locked, it can be not locked, but it's still, at least if we create new version of the form while we were doing some changes for the client, we can be sure that we just need to select correct version of the form, publish it, and all the information which was before the changes will be delivered to the client. That's why this versioning is quite useful when you change your form a lot. Actually, the same possibility can be done when we use export-import form. When we use click button export, the zip file will be exported to our laptop. We can, for example, move the zip file to some another laptop or for some another environment, or send it to our client, for example, and then use import and import this zip file to some another form or even another environment. Because actually the structure of export and import functionality should work pretty well. The reason why the import-export way for moving the form cannot work, it's when our form contains some validation script, validation mask, or error messages, and we want to we exported that form, and then we open our another environment. For example, it was test, and now we need to move our form to acceptance environment. On the acceptance environment, we try to import this form, but we can get an error that some of validation script error messages or something like that, or library doesn't exist in acceptance environment yet, and form can be imported. In that case, you need to go to exactly that elements which was mentioned in the error message, and move them also from one environment to another. For export, we use simple button export. After you click that button, you will see the confirmation message where you want to save this zip file, but actually this is a functionality of your browser, so different browser can work in different ways. And you have two options how to import the form. First of all, you can create new form, provide the name of that form, select that form, and then click button import. Or if you have already have, for example, an acceptance environment, some form, and you need just to import the changes from another environment, for example, from test environment, you can select the existing form which contains some question, click button import, select the zip file, and actually the structure of existing form will be replaced by the form from the imported file. After you click button import, you will see again the pop-up which asks you which exactly element you want to select. And if you provided the link to correct zip file, the form will be imported and will be displayed in correct way. If you have some troubles with zip file, or you select not correct file for importing, or you select the file which doesn't contain the form, you will see an error message that form can be uploaded, or the formatter file is not correct, etc. I would like to recommend you, whenever you try to import the form to some another, for example, environment, before do this, you can also export the form which will be replaced by new imported form. It happens that we did some mistake. It very often happens when you move some information from one environment to another. And if you have all backup of all forms from test environment, from acceptance environment, you will never miss the information, because sometimes the form itself is simple, but you should have somewhere noticed information what exactly change were done, for example, on test environment before moving it to the acceptance environment. And I had few troubles with that, and not only me, a lot of people can stay on that, can face with that problem. So it's easier to click this button export before you replace the form by a new imported file, and to be sure that both forms will be saved. It's just advice which can help you to save some time if you did mistake, and instead of movement the form from a test environment to acceptance environment, you did opposite action and you move the old form from acceptance environment, for example, to test environment, and you uh, replace your form completely. Also, it's possible to use the versioning. It's more user-friendly and it's better because you will spend only 1 second to return correct form. If doesn't matter which way you select to save your form, to not lose the data information about the form, select your way, but always remember that it's better to use some version or backup of the form instead of create the form from the beginning or do the same changes because we lost some update. Time to do the exercise number 7. The form should look like that, and result should be like that.